Hey guys, welcome back to HyperTora. I've got my Tokyo treat box here for June. It arrived quite late this month, considering it was shipped quite early. So compared to last month's box, this has arrived a good two and a half weeks later than the other one did. But it did arrive. I was almost starting to worry about it, but it did eventually get here. So I assume it got lost in customs for quite a while, because this was dated a good month ago when it was shipped. But we have it now, so let's open this up and see what we have inside. Yes, I do notice I am a little bit sunburnt. We just by magic happened to have some sun in the UK for a day or two. But here we go. So this month's theme is Hanami Picnic, which is pretty cool. There's a very nice sort of picnicky graphic there. They've teased a few things in this box online already, which is a bit hard to avoid if you're following Tokyo Treat. But yeah, so let's open this up and see what the book says about each item, because I cannot read the packaging. And let's keep going. So the top of this box we have some shrimp, and I believe this is one of the teased items, which is Sakura Scrimp. Yeah, so Calbee Sakura shrimp chips. This is from the premium box. That'll be interesting to try out. I like Sakura. The shrimp, I like raw shrimp, not raw, but normal shrimp. I've never been too keen on the shrimpy flavouring because sometimes I find it a little bit fishy, which you don't tend to get with fresh fish. But hey, that'll be an interesting try. I imagine for me the fish might overpower the Sakura flavouring. Next up we have some sort of party or share pack here. So these are sort of savoury corn rings, and this is from the classic box. So yeah, soft corn 4-pack there, so that's pretty cool. I don't know which items they class as the party pack and which items they class as the share pack nowadays, because they don't tend to say too much about it in the booklet like they used to. That's cool. So next up we have some Pocky. It's been a while since we've had some Pocky in a Tokyo Treat box, so that's pretty cool. And it's strawberry flavoured as well, which is absolutely perfect for a picnic theme box. So that's pretty cool. I don't think we've had, even when we last had Pocky, I don't think it was strawberry. But if I remember rightly, they do tend to taste a little bit buttery. Next up we have, I think this is the chocolate lollipop. So the Pocky was from the classic. This is from the premium, and this is it's some sort of gum. That's pretty cool. So I think it's got some sort of card in there to do with the theme of what's on the packaging, as well as the gum in there. Next up we have our DIY candy, which looks like it's going to be one of those easy ones to make. It looks like some balls of candy with some syrup and some sprinkles. I think we've had this kind of thing before. I can't remember how recently. But these ones are pretty simple to make. You don't need any water or anything to make them. You just need to empty the packages out and mix them together. Next up, we got energy drink bubble candy. And it looks like it's going to be sour based on the packaging. So this is from the classic box. And yeah, Ramune energy drink bubble candy. So I don't know if the bubble, bubble's the fizz rather than bubble but for bubble gum. So that's something different there. Next up, we got some Pringles, which look to be Mexican flavoured by the packaging. So I'm not entirely sure what makes these Japanese, because I'm pretty sure we get this kind of stuff in the UK. And this is from the classic box. Yeah, it says Nacho Cheese Pringles. So we'll try these out, but I'd say these are more American themed foods than Japanese, even though it's in Japanese packaging. So that's a little bit disappointing in some ways. Next up we have what looks like an Amiibo, but in a different packaging to usual. No, this is Nori potato sticks. So it's potato snack seasoned with nori. Given the shape and the consistency, I think that's going to be quite like our Amiibo snack, which we actually have here. So this is this month's Amiibo Manteco flavour. So I'm not entirely sure what flavouring that is, but that would be interesting to try out. They always do have weird and interesting, wonderful graphics on these. Next up, we've got some savoury snacks. These usually taste like soy sauce, but this one is German potato sticks. So another snack that's from another, essentially a Japanese take on another country's flavouring. So that'd be something different to try out. Or next up, we have a very large pack of. I'm hoping this is Mochi based on the packaging, but I think it's Mochi flavoured. So this is from our premium box. It's Sakura Mochi cookies. So they're actually cookies designed to taste like Sakura Mochi, which is pretty cool. I've had proper Sakura Mochi when I was in Japan last. I really like the mochi. I didn't. One thing they tend to do with Sakura Mochi is actually wrap it in a leaf. The leaf itself I wasn't too keen on, but the mochi itself is really nice. And if you don't know what Sakura is, it's cherry blossom, so it's the actual flower on a cherry tree, rather than the cherries themselves. Next up we have, this might actually be some mochi, if I can find it in the booklet here. So we've got, from our classic box, it's Koneko Cake. It looks soft like mochi, but I have a feeling, yeah, so it says chewy mochi texture, but the Koneko is obviously going to be the flavouring. It reminds me of the dusting stuff we got in some of the DIY mochi we had before, so that'd be interesting to see how that's different, because obviously when I did the DIY mochi, it's rehydrating tablets, and they're never the same as proper mochi. They're always too wet and soggy whenever I do them. Next up we have what looks to be like some hard powdered candy in orange flavouring. So this, I believe, is from the classic box, if I can see it on here. Yeah, so very last item in this booklet, Ramune candies, and it looks like I've got orange here, but you could have had grape, lemon, apple, or I think melon in the booklet there. So that's interesting. I think I would have preferred melon, because melon's my favourite, but nonetheless that's going to be pretty cool. And then finally our very last item is some tea, which was teased online as well. So this is essentially our drink from the premium box for this month. It's a little bit odd for me. I think it's the first time we've had something that we've got to add liquid to actually get our drink, rather than just having it in a can or a bottle. So that'd be interesting. I've never had Sakura tea, and Lipton's a reasonably good brand, at least in the UK, for iced tea. So I don't know whether you're meant to have this hot or cold. The instructions on the back say hot. But yeah, that's everything inside this box. What I think I'm going to do is, actually I've got a cup to the side because they already teased this. Open this up and make the tea so it can sit and brew for a few minutes before I try it out, and then open a few other things up. So if I grab one of my Star Wars mugs from back when I used to do Geek Box unboxings, and open up this box of tea. Cool. So in here we got a bunch of tea bags. There's a reasonable few in there. I wouldn't say there's a massive amount, but enough for what we want. It smells like tea. I don't know if there's a hint of Sakura in there. It might come out more with the hot drink, so I want to get that right. Drop this in here and pour what I'm hoping is still reasonably hot water in there. And I've now just lost the end of my tea bag in there, so I'm going to let that brew for a few minutes, because I can't dip that up and down unless I can rescue it out with that. There we go. So that's getting a nice kind of tea colour, not too dark, which I suppose is what you expect, because I don't think this kind of tea is meant to have milk in it, which we tend to do with our tea in the UK. Let's give that a few minutes just to soak in. While that soaks in, I kind of want to open this massive pack of Sakura Mochi flavoured cookies. So, lots of these in here. I think they're all the same. They smell really nice, and they've got a little cookie shape to them. They are proper cookies, but they're soft ones. They're really good. They've captured the essence of Sakura Mochi, which is not just the cherry blossom, but the leaf that the mochi's wrapped in as well. I think I got a hint of that in the cookie, so that was interesting. It's nice and sweet from the cherry, but not too sweet. So that's quite a nice item in this box. Next up, I'll try our Koneko Moshi. There, so pretty cool. I think there's a filling inside from the feel of this. That's cool. So there's a filling on the inside of this, and you have a kind of marshmallowy centre with a mochi around the outside. I wouldn't say it's a overpowering flavour. It wasn't. I'm not entirely sure what that flavouring is meant to be. But it's not going to hit you in the face. It's quite a, I'd say a neutral flavouring. So it's pretty quite a good mochi for people to try. You can taste the base mochi in that. And it's not too overpowered by the flavouring. I'm hoping, because I've had that hot water sitting there for a little while, this might actually be somewhere that we can now try this. It smells like a sweeter tea. It's quite nice actually. I think if I had this again, I might add some sugar to it just to sweeten it up a little bit to bring out the flavour. But yeah, it's quite nice. It doesn't taste like normal plain tea, which to me normally just tastes like tainted water. This actually has a bit of extra flavouring to it, which is I find quite nice and refreshing. Okay, next up we'll open up our Mexican Pringles that are in a Japanese box. Or Mexican themed. Oh, they smell very cheesy. So these are little mini ones compared to the size of Pringles I'm used to. That's extra cheesy. They're pretty cool. If you've got Pringles or cheesy Pringles in your country, I imagine these are going to be pretty much the same. I can't see them being too different to any kind of cheesy Pringles I can find in the UK. So I'm not too sure what to say about that. They could have hopefully have found some Pringles maybe that had a uniquely Japanese taste to them. But hey ho, let's move on. Next up, we've got our powdered candy. I don't know how easy these will be to eat, because sometimes you tend to suck on them, or you chew them up and you end up with a powdery kind of mouth. It's not a very strong orange smell to them. But when you eat them, there's a very strong puff of orange flavouring to that. So that's pretty cool. Next up, we have our Pocky, or however you pronounce that, which is flavoured in a kind of German flavouring. So they're pretty cool. They look a bit different to what's actually on the packaging. The little textures that are on these sticks aren't quite as prominent on the actual stick. They're quite nice. I can taste the potato. Can't really taste too much else to that. Normally when I've had these last, they were sort of soy sauce flavoured. So this is actually quite nice, because sometimes I find the soy sauce ones a bit overpowering. So that was a pretty nice snack there actually. Next up, we've got our sort of, not Oimaibo, but our thing that's, I reckon, is going to be the same as in Oimaibo. I think maybe it's just a different brand. And it's got our Sushi Nori on it. Well, not sushi, but seaweed. I'd say it's pretty plain with a bit of saltiness to it, which I assume is coming from the seaweed. It's quite nice. I think the salt is kind of the overpowering flavour there with the corn. And then we can compare that to our normal Umaibo. I think I forgot to look at what flavour this was in the booklet. Menteiko flavour, which I'm not entirely sure what that's meant to be. But it looks orangey and cheesy possibly, or spicy maybe. And there's a little bit of brownness to it, which could be barbecue sauce. It's quite nice. I don't think I can describe the flavour of that. Again, it's not overpowering. I'm not sure what to compare that to. If you have this box and you've had this, do comment down below and let me know what you think that tastes like. If there's anything outside of Japan you can compare it to. Next up, we've got our kind of pet party share pack. So I tear one of these off. So it looks like it's going to be sort of hoops, and then sort of different vegetable flavourings, based on the packaging. They look quite plain. So I think we've had stuff similar to this before. They're very light. I think they're mostly air. They taste really nice. I think, even though it's sort of got pictures of vegetables around the outside, I think they're quite plain. I can't really taste too much to them. So I think they're just a plain savoury snack. Pretty quite a good palate cleanser. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Next up, we shall open up our gum, which I mainly want to see the card inside, see what the card's like. So we have a little square of gum there. I'm not going to eat this now because I think it's going to take me ages to eat a bit of gum on camera. But we have some sort of little fold in half card with something to write notes on. So I don't know whether you're meant to write, maybe it's a bit like Kit Kats where you write messages on them. It probably is also quite a useful thing to dispose of your gum afterwards. Or that could be the collector's card. And then we got some little stickers here as well, which is pretty cool, which I think is more interesting than the card itself. Next up, we have our Pocky in strawberry flavouring. And we got 2 packs in here. Now, sometimes I always find Pocky sometimes a little bit buttery, just in the way they do their white chocolate. But that smells really nice and rich and strong of strawberry. We've even got little nodges of strawberry on there. It's really nice. It reminds me of strawberry ice cream that we have in the UK. So that's not too bad actually, and it's not too buttery or greasy like I find some Pockies can be. Next up, we have our Sakura Scrimp. I think this is the one I'm sort of dreading trying the most because I'm not entirely sure how this is going to work. I can't smell any Sakura, but I can definitely smell the shrimp. And there's a kind of pinky colour to the chips in here, which is interesting. The smell reminds me of prawn crackers that you get from your local takeaway, Chinese takeaway. Again, these are quite plain. They smell like prawn crackers. I suppose they taste a little bit like them. They're not too strong. I wouldn't say I can taste the Sakura in them. I wouldn't say the Sakura is very noticeable in this. It's a bit of a shame. They're quite nice. While they're quite strong in smell like prawn crackers, they're not too strong for actual eating. So I'd say they're more like just normal prawn savoury snacks. I wouldn't particularly say that's Sakura. Next up, we have our energy drink bubble candy, which I have a feeling is going to be like another hard candy. Yeah, so we've got some hard sort of powdered candy in here. It definitely smells like an energy drink. Oh, that gets you. That actually fizzes up in your mouth, which becomes quite sour as well. I was expecting it to maybe be sour. I wasn't quite expecting it to fizz up as soon as it hit my mouth like that. And then our final item in this box is our DIY candy. So, luckily we don't need any water for this one, and I think I can get away without using the instructions. So in here we have a toothpick, which is used for these, and I know what this reminds us of now. This reminds me of the toffee apple packer, which I'm pretty sure we haven't had too long since we had that one. So our packaging is a little bit missed in here. So we have our sort of candy apple flavouring, and then our sprinkles. Do be careful with this stuff, it is very sticky. It gets in everywhere. So let's pour this out. And then get it out of the way where it's not quite gonna stick to anything else. And then we get our sprinkles there. So next up we put these on our little toothpick, a little bit like a candy apple, and then we can rotate this around in our little syrup, and then we'll just rotate that around in our sprinkles, just like that, which is pretty cool. And it smells quite appley. Let's try this out. They're really nice. We've definitely had this DIY candy before. I can't remember how long ago. I think it might have been in a different packaging. So I think this is kind of redecorated, rebranded packaging. But we definitely had this before. It is quite nice nonetheless. I think there was a load of other DIYs we probably could have tried. But I've seen on YouTube and other places before we came back round to having the same kind of thing again, which is a little bit disappointing. But if you've not had Tokyo Treat before, then obviously getting this thing, even though some of us had it before, is quite great for you guys to try it out, because it's quite a nice DIY. It's not too difficult compared to the ones where you have to mix water in. This, you just stick it straight on a stick, empty the packages, and just mix what you want together, which is pretty cool. Anyway, that's everything in this box. If you do want this box, you think you've still got a few days from me posting this video to actually go and buy this particular box. Though I think a few people online have said before that they've ordered towards the end of the month and they found that there's been a few items in the box out of stock. So in those cases you do tend to sometimes get some replacements. But hopefully that's not the case, because I hope as more subscriptions come up, they slowly order more items each time. So there's less of a case of them over ordering. And usually if they've over ordered, most of the stuff that they have in these boxes tends to go on to their Japan crate or Japan Haul site a few weeks or months after the box has been out, which is pretty cool. But that's it for this video. If you do get this box and it's your first time, do use the link down in the description below. That gives you a discount. I think it's about $5 off if you get the premium box on your first box. Don't use it if you're an existing customer or you've previously been a customer, because they do check and they send you emails saying about having used the code, but you've already had a subscription, so then they do check on that. But other than that, thanks for watching. Please do comment down below and let me know what your favourite items from this box was. Please do hit the like button down below as well, and subscribe if you want to see more unboxing videos. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.